What's up, everybody? It's Big Blue Power Hour. I'm your
Good
host,
morning.
Danny, and this is Stacy. How's it going, Stacy?
Oh, it's
Good
going.
morning. I like your
Good
mug.
morning. Thank you. Thank you.
I like that mug. I love that. It's nice.
It's big.
At least
It's really
our
big
logo
too.
looks good right now, right?
Hey, it's gorgeous, isn't it? Established
Absolutely,
1925, kids.
absolutely. Yep. So another Sunday, another game day. Be nice if we were looking
Gotta
forward
be
to game day,
positive.
but that's okay.
Positive, Dan.
Hey, any given Sunday, right?
That's right. Could be our day.
Anytime we play the Commanders, we always got a chance to
Hey.
win a game. I feel, even how bad we've sucked. It's, for some reason, like we've been able to do that. Like last time we played the Commanders this year, we thought run it was like 14-0. We ended up winning like 14-10 or 7 or something, and almost lost the game. Like a handful of tries,
But it was still a win. It was still a check in the win column. So
hey, a win is a win, right?
that's right.
We'll take all we can get. Well, I guess
Hey,
I'll say
when
that
you only have 2 of them on the year, you're going to
Yep.
take what you can get when you can get it.
Well, some fans will say that don't mess up your draft pick. Don't win. We need the tank. We need the tank. And I think they're going to win a couple more games at most, probably. But they're not going to beat like a Dallas like last week. Like last week was horrible. I think we kind of expected that because, like the defense probably played its worst game of the year last week too.
It's like they laid down. They just laid down on the field.
Oh, I think they were on the field for like 40 minutes though. So when you're on the field
like
that,
they were tired as fuck.
Like I did not expect the Giants to come close to winning the game at all. You got to be realistic. The offensive line just didn't perform well again. The defense didn't perform, and you started on like your own half-yard line, like 2 drives in a row. Like when you start buried like that first 10, it's not going to work out very well for us. So I think it's kind of what we expected. I thought the defense would play better, but I think they just got worn out. At a certain point in this game, that's just the way it goes. So, like I said, we'll be thinking about, all that's on our mind left is, let the young guys improve and draft time. Like, isn't that nice? It's like another season, and now we're thinking about the draft. Unfortunately.
Halfway through the regular season, and we're already looking forward to the draft season.
Hey, we get 1 year of reprieve. We made the playoffs and won a playoff game. It's something.
Hey,
it's something. But I think in reality, I mean, did you expect a setback this year? Not like this, but did you expect any type of setback?
No, I thought we had everything. I mean, we were moving forward. Like everybody was looking good. We were healthy, and then the season starts.
Yep, and they're definitely not healthy anymore.
Yeah. And then the injury reports start rolling in. So it's like, what the fuck? Man?
Well, another major problem, another problem is like Saquon Barkley, having him out really killed us early in the season.
Yeah.
Having him out, it makes the offense not dynamic, and Kafka doesn't seem to be able to call a game without Barkley very well. And also you had Andrew Thomas out for like 4 or 5 weeks, and now Andrew Thomas was out again. I don't know if he's going to be out this time. He has a knee injury. He's questionable today. Evan Neal is out again. But the injuries are ridiculous again. Like once again, we are like the injuries are crazy.
Where'd
like
you go, Dan? There you are.
Oh, I'm right here.
Yeah. All of a sudden, your face went really dark, like you were not.
There. Oh, because I brought up I brought
up
something I was reading off of. I apologize. Yeah, so the Giants' injuries are ridiculous, though. Like, these are their injuries right now. Like, you have Jalen High had a concussion. He had full practice, so I think he's going to play. Joey Jackson did not practice Friday. I don't think he's out with a concussion. Evan Neal is out again with an ankle. Dexter Lawrence is going to play. But you have people like, Thomas, his knee, Wendell Robinson, obviously his knee. Thibodeau had a concussion. He had full practice. But like unfortunately, it's just so many injuries.
Concussions last week.
Yeah, I think 2 guys got concussions last week.
Were they running into each other, or
Thibodeau had a concussion and someone else had a concussion. So, unfortunately, when you have Andrew Thomas out, who makes our offensive line better, JMS was out, unfortunately. He didn't get to develop all those games. So the offensive line's got to perform well, but it's just a total disaster on all fronts for the Giants.
It's always
And
next year, right? Yeah.
I thought sometimes when you have a season like you had last year, you overachieved a little bit. And I think that there would have been a minor setback, like maybe around 500, but not like this. I did not expect the offensive line to be this poor, this bad all season. And again, we're talking about the offensive line. Like I think Joe Shea made a miscalculation a little bit, and I think they thought they were further along than they really were on the offensive line. Yeah, Andrew Thomas is solid, but the problem with Thomas is he's getting hurt. He keeps getting injured. He keeps he's an excellent tackle, but I don't think he's going one season without missing games, and he's missed almost half the games that we've had so far. So that's kind of a little concern for me. Even though Thomas is really good, he's been very injury prone, and I kind of don't like that.
Is he not? Are they not giving him enough time to fully heal and then bringing him back, and then he's re-injuring?
It's possible because their offensive line's really bad without him. I mean, he at least solidifies that left side, but they need him. So maybe they have, maybe not. But he's had that nagging injury since week 1, and I don't think it's the same injury that I think it was his hamstring. Those 3 or 4 or 5 weeks he was out. But you need someone like Thomas to succeed. But like I said, the defense has been bad this season. The offensive line's been bad this season. And then on top of that, the quarterback play has been bad. And everyone wants to focus on one position. But I can't ignore the offensive line and how they perform. It's been so bad.
And your quarterback can't perform if the offensive line is not doing their job.
Yeah, I think Jones has some blame. But also you have to realize that I don't think he's really set up to succeed, or in the best position to succeed with the way the offensive line is played. Not that he's going to hold any blame. But yeah, later today we're going to.
I guess we're with Vito again today, right?
DeVito again today, yes.
Yeah. So
yeah.
Why isn't? I expect it's been 4 weeks, so.
Yeah, it's his 4th week. It's his second official start.
I thought he was only out 4 weeks.
Who? Tyrod?
Yeah.
Well, Tyrod Taylor, they're probably being cautious because he had his rib cage shifted or something. It's not just a typical rib injury, so I think they want to make sure he's okay. But I would expect him to play for a little bit still, because maybe his injury's more, worse than we thought, and I wouldn't play Tyrod Taylor if it's risk. You're not going anywhere. You're not playing for nothing. You're not going to the playoffs. So it's a little different situation.
Give him some time back there, but hopefully he can. He put up 17 points against the Cowgirls. So
that's more than we've scored in a little bit, even though it was a garbage show. But still, it's still.
I'm looking for 27 out of them this week against the Redskins. Commanders.
Yeah, well, let's see what happens. I'm very interested to see how the game goes, today. But like I said, we've always played well, and we will talk about the Commanders in the second half of the show. We'll have someone from Commanders Gridiron who knows the Commanders well talk about it. But everyone's just trying to figure out what's gone wrong, and everyone wants to blame, one person or anything. I think it's all their faults. I think the coaching hasn't been as good. The situational play calling has not been as good this year. The performance overall on all phases has not been good this year. So I don't know what people really expect. We knew this might be a long haul. It might take 2 or 3 years. But
after last season, we were like, yeah.
That's why some people
finally, fuck yeah.
Well, that's why you have to keep it in perspective. I think some people expected way too much. When you expect a lot, when you expect too much, you have a letdown. So that's what I think a lot of fans have done, and now they're pissed off, and rightfully so, because it's been a long time they've sucked. Hold on a second. Kenny Fry, yo, good morning, you beautiful blue
Ken.
people. Yep. Morning, Ken.
Hello, Eileen.
Morning, Eileen. So yeah, unfortunately, I'm pissed off. I'm annoyed, but I have to keep it in perspective. I knew this team wasn't close to contending for a Super Bowl or nothing, so I knew it was a rebuild process, and you have to trust Shane and Dable to have more than 2 seasons to do that.
Yeah, true.
You can't play the same game where, oh, you're gonna fire someone again, which I don't expect they'll be fired. I know a lot of people have been saying that, but there's no way they're gonna fire them. Not after 2 seasons.
No.
Not with how Dave Gettleman before set them back a bit. Because if they could have had picked the right quarterback and not picked DJ, and solidified that offensive line, I think we'd be talking a different story about this team. No matter who the quarterback was.
Wasn't the other one? Wasn't it the Dwayne Haskett, or God, what was his name? The
Dwayne Haskins.
That went to the Commanders that wound up going nuts.
Yeah, they were talking about Dwayne Haskins. They were talking about him.
Yeah.
In reality, we could have taken Mahomes in 15 or something when he was there, because he was there when we picked, but we picked like Engram or something like that. So, I don't know what you expect. It took the Bills a bit. They had to take your rookie quarterback. They had a bad season. Then from there, they were better.
Mm-hmm.
But it all starts up front, like Kenny Fry says. Starts up front. Giants rebuild on the O-line, just like the Jets need to, and I feel that will equal a couple more wins. QB protection is so big, and that's what I've been talking about all season. I know people want to blame Daniel Jones, but I don't know what you expect when the beginning of the season, when he was he got killed in the first 4 or 5 games. I'm talking crushed, like sacked, 8 times in a game, 11 times.
11 times,
yeah. Hit 15 to 20 times every single game. I'm sorry, but that has an effect. Like, you can't tell me for 1 second that Burrow can win like that. He can't.
Mm-mm.
Yeah, sometimes you can overcome it with great plays and and you can pull one out here or there, but you're not going to win consistently with your offensive line sucks. I'm sorry, but I'm not going to just blame one person, and I think that the offensive line was solid. I know people call me crazy. I have arguments with Giant fans all the time about this.
Mm-hmm.
DJ would be fine. I think he would be fine behind a good offensive line. You put him on a team like the 49ers or the Chiefs or somebody else that has a solid offensive line, even Seattle, he'll probably play much better behind that offensive line. I'm fully convinced of that.
Look at Geno Smith. And I'm not saying Geno Smith was a bad quarterback, but he's not an elite quarterback.
No, he just plays consistently solid.
Yes, yeah.
And that's what you want from your quarterback.
But it's helpful when you can, rely on the guys in front of you to protect you. Confidence
is also key. If you're not confident that you're going to get that protection, and when your best left tackle, Andrew Thomas, is out, like, I don't feel comfortable back there. And if you're not comfortable back there and you're looking over your shoulder every single play, you're not going to play calm, cool, and relaxed in the pocket.
No.
And DJ faced pressure last year. He got sacked 44 times last year. That's a lot. But he was able to handle that pressure easier. He was able to use his legs. It's almost like they didn't use his legs this year at all, really, to offset anything. They were way too predictable. It's just, like I said, if the offensive line was better, I think this team would be a better football team or have a better record at this point.
Yeah, definitely. So
no, it's just a shame. And it sucks for Evan Neal, because Evan Neal did get hurt. He hurt his ankle. And I know people have been shitting on Evan Neal, and he has been way underperformed what we expected. But before he got hurt, he was a little better in those 2 games. He was a little better versus Crosby, a little bit. And it would be nice if he can get back and at least improve. I'd like to see that. I'd like to see him get back and maybe kind of even out a little bit, even though he's been horrible, and see if you could solidify that position, because if not, you might be taking a tackle in the top 5 next year.
Well, at this point, they just need to let him sit the rest of the season. If they're injured, what's the point now? If they're
injured, he's healthy,
let him get healthy. Let's, obviously we're looking on to next year, folks. There's no way we're going to win out the rest of the season, to even think about getting into a playoff position. So
Yeah,
it's
but
like just sit the guys that are injured, let them, let them get healthy.
exactly. Exactly. It's just it's like the state of things just sucks. Okay, here we are again talking about the same thing
Uh-huh.
over and over again.
Over
I
and
think a
over.
lot of it has to do with Reese before Gettleman neglecting the offensive line. We would not take offensive line. Like there was one season where Gettleman didn't take one offensive lineman in the draft. Rather take a Kadarius Toney or an Evan Ingram or some crap like that. You know what I'm
Two
saying?
guys who are no longer even on this team.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah, it just like I said, when you have a bad GM and your GM neglects the position, the offensive line, which is one of the most important things for your team, it all starts in the trenches. And then Dave Gettleman does the same thing. He did draft Thomas. I'll give him credit for that, but he had to take Thomas. He had no choice but to take him, right? So Thomas is a good pick, but
mhm.
you know, all the other picks neglected the needs. You fix your offensive line, you just need solid weapons. You need someone's all worldly, and that's probably what frustrates fans the most is is that type of thing. And you have to give Shane and Dable like 3 years minimum, even four. I mean, you have to give them time because it's going to take time, unfortunately.
Mhm.
We're frustrated as fans, but I don't know what else to tell people sometimes.
Right. Like we get it. But I mean, what are we going to do? They ain't listening to us,
No,
you know?
no,
They don't give a fuck.
no, absolutely not. And then a lot of stuff. I also heard this week people writing stuff and talking about how Mara's not going to let them take a quarterback. That he loves Jones so much, he's not going to let him. And I don't know where that came from. I didn't read that in any official article. I didn't hear from that from an official, like a good source or nothing. It's just people talking about Mara from the past
Mm.
because that's how he's been. He's interfered, and I think he's going to leave it up to Shane and Dable.
Well, I mean, I would hope so.
Yeah, you want your owner to stay out. You want your GM and your
Mm-hmm.
GM to try and solve the situation. And I think Shane has done well overall for the most part, but I don't like some of his free agent signings. Some of them just haven't worked out. So, like Paris Campbell, like Waller, Paris, yeah, like
Yeah.
Darren Waller's on injured reserve. That was our biggest fear, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm.
You make a move, but now Waller's on injured reserve. Now he can't help you.
Nope.
And now you might not play the entire season. And that was the worst fear. That was about that deal was the worst fear that I had was, and we're talking about injuries again.
Yeah.
Like
It's
just,
like I don't know. We can't get out of our own way, I guess.
exactly. And now all I want to do is see the young players develop, and the young guys. I want to see JMS develop. I want to have Banks to develop. I just want the young guys to, develop, and be better for next season because that's really all we're doing now.
Yep.
Now Dable is probably looking at who's going to be here, who's not, who's making the effort, who's not.
Who's not?
Right. And it was going to take a couple of years to really get that done. Yeah, there's a lot of new players and there's new atmosphere and everything, but I think they might end up being better in the long run because of this experience. I think Dable kind of needed this if it makes any sense. I think for
like
Dable,
humbling.
it's a humbling experience.
Yeah.
I think he's never been a head coach before. He overachieved a little bit. He did a better job last year, but some seasons just don't go your way.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes, no matter what you do, you're not going to dig yourself out of it. And it's probably very frustrating for Dable, but he knew this would take time.
Oh, you can see it in him on the sidelines.
Yeah,
very
absolutely.
frustrated.
And people just want to trash them, and I get it and be emotional. I totally understand that.
And not for nothing, that's being a Yankees fan too. And like after this season, some of the fans are horrible.
Oh, they're very
horrible.
Toxic.
Like when you're in your
Yeah.
own stadium and you get up and you're getting fucking booed. Like, come on. Like, why would anybody want to play here?
Well, when you're talking about certain games, like if you're going to like that Dallas game, even though what I think it was away. If you're going to that game, like you're not expecting them to win. And like, unfortunately, like I said, without a good offensive line, without good protection, I don't care who your quarterback is, you're not going to succeed very well and score many points.
No.
I'm not going to move from that position. Yeah, I blame Jones somewhat, but like I said, I don't know what else to tell teams, tell fans.
Right. They're not going to listen to us either. So.
Yeah, I think another player. I've been a couple players. One player I've been impressed with this year is McFadden. Micah McFadden's had a really good season at linebacker. I'm very happy he's coming along. He seems to be fitting in the system. I like the way Thibodeau's been playing with 8.5 sacks. That's really good.
Yeah.
That's a big jump up from last season.
Yep.
So
what did he have last season? 3?
6, 5.5 or something like that.
Yeah, it wasn't
anything prolific. His pressures were good. But I think Thibodeau's been real solid this year. I don't think he really fits the best in Wink's system. But, I'd rather go back to a 4-3 like I said, but I don't know if that's going to happen. But
at this point in the season, they should just start letting the fans call in the plays. I mean, something.
I don't like Kafka's situational play calling this season. I don't think it's been very good at all.
No.
To be honest, it hasn't been good at all. It's just I think he did well last year, but he's too predictable now, and teams know it.
I mean, you know what we haven't seen once this year? The Wildcat, dude. That was they were doing that, and I mean, what happened to all that shit?
They tried to do the Wildcat.
Too predictable.
Like a couple of games ago.
Uh-huh.
Was it versus the Jets maybe? And it might have been versus, and they totally failed. It was on a 4th down, and they Barkley didn't even take the ball. Like I said, I think that Kafka is really predictable and teams know it, and he hasn't been very creative this season. Trying to, I think what they thought was, we have more weapons, we're going to change our offense. We're going to do something totally different this time. And
which is going to be the same every time.
I think they kind of should have stuck with what worked last year,
right,
and build off of that.
Right.
Build off that RPO, build off of that. And I didn't see a lot of that early in the season. And when you have a lot of time to throw, you got to get rid of the ball quick, right? Yeah. As soon as they realized that in week 1 that their offensive line was going to be horrible again, they should have went to that quick game.
Yeah.
They should have went right back to what worked, even though it's predictable. It's more a dink and dunk thing, quick passes, 3 yards, 5 yards.
No, they're definitely ducking a lot.
And you got to get rid of the ball in 2 seconds. You got to play that quick game. And I saw none of that from Kafka. I mean, I'm surprised they're not doing that with DeVito, because a lot of the stuff I see with DeVito, he's taking 5-step drops. Like with DeVito, I'd be playing the quick game. I'd be getting rid of that ball as fast as possible, a little bit of yards at a time, and then you can take your shots.
Yeah,
but
get first.
Maybe he's not capable of reacting that fast because he's never played in the NFL. It's only his 4th game.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm surprised they're not simplifying things. It seems like Kafka is still sticking with the same thing, because they're still taking shots downfield. He's still throwing risky passes. It's nothing like methodical, sustained drives. Like I said, I don't like the way Kafka's called games this year. I want to be able to call the plays.
I mean, why not try it?
Try something.
We got to do something, guys.
Try something.
Try
something new. I don't care. Put Matt Barkley in there. Put Eason in there. Does it matter?
Somebody. Hey, you over there. Come on.
Maybe he's I'll let DeVito play. Maybe he'll play for another team. Yeah, right. He'll never play for another team. Let's go do 2 sponsors real quick, and then we'll bring on Steve in about 5 minutes. 1-800-123 to your Big Al Jason Fine. You have a remote vehicle accident, slip and fall, workers' compensation, personal injury claim. They have 3 locations: Philadelphia, Pennsylvania area, the Cherry Hill, New Jersey area, and the Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania area. If you're in any of those areas and you need legal help, call 1-800-HURT-123. Attorney Big Al, Jason Fine. Monkey Cold Coffee, the evolution of flavor-infused coffee. They have 4 flavors: bourbon chocolate chip, toasted coconut rum, and Sumatra blend. Their newest flavor, Perula Florida. Use the promo code OTB Sports at the checkout monkeycoldcoffee.com to get 10% off of your order. The evolution of flavor-infused coffee. Get your coffee today. Make an excellent product. So, Monkey Cold Coffee. Use the promo code OTB Sports to get 10% off your order at the checkout. And Stacy's gone. So
sorry, had to switch up the drinks.
That's all right. That's okay. That's all right. Yeah. How's the weather? Is it hot down there in Texas today?
No, today it's probably in the 60s. It's supposed to rain. It's 58 right now. So not bad. I'm still outside, so
yeah, it's actually like in the 60s here today.
See?
Oh. All right, but we got the Washington Commanders coming up again. So I'm interested to see how this game goes. We're going to have Steve Lawman on from Commanders Gridiron in a few minutes here. So what are you expecting from this game today?
Not to shoot ourselves in the foot.
Like always, right?
Yeah. See, being optimistic.
I mean, you gotta be optimistic. I know it's hard.
We always play them tough.
Yep.
And I don't expect them to not do that today. I'm just hoping for a win.
Yeah, some fans are. Some fans are like, don't mess up our draft pick. Some fans
are not. Yeah, I know. And and that's the thing. You can't in New York, you don't know what the fuck they want. If you're winning, they want you to try something. It's like, all right, man. Okay, so now you don't want us to win. Now you want us to lose.
I see. It's like a hard place to be because you're so tired of losing, right?
Mm-hmm.
And like I said, no matter where they end up in the draft, I think they'll be able to solve both issues. I think if they want to take the best player available, a Marvin Harrison Jr., they want to take Joe Alt, the tackle. If they don't really believe in Neal and they want to kick him to guard to salvage that, I don't know what they would do. It would give them depth, though, because Evan Neal seems to not be able to stay healthy. That's another thing. Evan Neal has been getting hurt. He was hurt last year. He's hurt this year.
Mm-hmm.
And now he's hurt again. It's just a different injury this time.
It's like, what the fuck? You see teams that'll go all year and, not have one. I don't want to say not have one injury, but not have injuries that impact your team like we do.
Yeah, it always seems to be an injury.
Is it the turf? Even the new turf?
No, I don't. I don't think it's the turf because
the Jets play on the same fucking turf.
But so it's not really ACLs. It's like hamstrings and ankles and knees. It's like other concussions. It's like other types of injuries. I don't think it's the field. I think DJ got hurt when I don't know if you remember Cager.
When he
ran into him kind of.
The head.
No, remember when Cager missed the block, was trying to block a guy coming at DJ from the outside, and Cager ran vertically upfield, and DJ ran right into him, and tumbled over him. I think that's where he got hurt.
The next play is when
and then the next play when he dropped back is when he tore his ACL.
Yep,
it's that kind of stuff that just happens. It's been happening for the Giants. Unfortunately, they're just the most unlucky team. Like you got Andrew Thomas, a stud tackle, you just can't stay healthy. That's the only knock I have on him, is he just gets so banged up all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So, but yeah, we're gonna bring on Steve here, talk about the Commanders Gridiron, from the Commanders Gridiron, talk about the Commanders. Fix one thing here. There we go. What's up, Steve?
Hey, Steve.
Good morning, Miss Stacy, Mr. Dan. How are you all?
Good.
Pretty good. How you doing this morning?
Pretty good. Just came off a long shift at the firehouse, so trying to muster some rest before a big football game here in a couple hours. So
Yeah, uneventful.
yeah, luckily.
Good. Hopefully, it'll be eventful for. It's going to be eventful for both our teams. We'll have some crazy thing happen because we're playing the Commanders today again, and I don't think the Giants are going to win. I don't know if Stacy agrees, but I don't think they're going to win.
You know me, I'm always optimistic. I'm looking for that W today. So,
but what do you see in this game today, Steve?
So it's super interesting that we talk interdivisional contests here, between the Commanders and the New York Giants. And while deep down, I'm always going to predict the W for my team, and I feel a little bit more confident now in saying that than I would if we were facing the same New York Giants that we did earlier in the season, right?
Yeah.
And you guys obviously know why. And I was listening to the show earlier, and you guys made some very valid points, as far as your team progressing through the season to get where they are today. But the biggest concern that I have is twofold. We talked about this on the NFC East War Room last week, even on my show, Commander's Gridiron, that our defense is basically Swiss cheese. So, and it kind of showed in the first meeting between the two teams earlier in the season, and then it shows every other week against other teams. We're giving up 25, 30, 40 points a game.
That's a lot. That might be more than we might be close.
It is. So that's point number one, that it's going to depend on what kind of defense shows up for us.
Yeah.
Number two, one thing that kind of points me towards leaning towards my own team coming out victorious is we've overall, from an NFL perspective, it's not very big, but for us here in DC, it's leaps and bounds is our offensive line. We made a couple of tweaks, moved some guys around so that, hey, look, we're not giving up the double-digit sacks anymore every week. Sam Howell is not leading the NFL in getting sacked every week now.
Yeah.
So it gives me a little bit of optimism. But then the third reason that always gives me pause about trying to predict this game and who's going to win is, regardless of the roster that you guys have or assemble, for whatever reason, and I feel I can say this more than the Eagles or even the Cowboys, the New York Giants always find a way to play us super tough. In whatever condition, in whatever stadium, like at any time of the year.
Yeah.
And it just always baffles me that, you guys could be on your, you could throw a position player in as quarterback and you're still going to find a way, to give us a run for our money and bring it down to the last 2 minutes. And that's like the only thing that's consistent in our two teams' history of games, right?
Exactly.
It usually comes down to the last 2 minutes, whether it's low scoring, whether it's high scoring, it's always a last minute drive for whatever team. And like, we always bring out the best in each other one way or the other. And unfortunately, like, even though you guys are on like your third string quarterback, like I can potentially see that happening again today.
It's possible we'll win.
Yeah, it is. I mean, and then, like I said, it goes back to, how well is our defense going to do? There's definitely a ton of chatter right now from fans and media calling for Jack Del Rio's resignation. I mean, they've been calling for that for the last 2 weeks. But, if by some stroke of God, New York wins today, we kind of already predict that Rivera and JDR are going to be gone on Black Monday anyhow.
Probably, I would say so.
But I would think that if for some reason we lose today, you're going to see at least one of those individuals gone tomorrow morning.
If you lose today, it'll be like both teams won't have 20. Like, it'll be like a lower scoring game, I feel. But another thing that Sam Howell's been really good this year, I want to say, but he holds on to the ball a little bit. That's probably his only issue. But if your offensive line's better, it helps him overall. If you're not giving up sacks like you did when we played you guys, like, remember when we played you guys, we sacked the hell out of Sam Howell.
Hey, you guys were double digits, or maybe 9 at least.
Yeah, something like that. And like, we'll see if Thibodeaux could stay in the concussion today. But like, the Commanders' offense, I think is more viable than ours. Like, you guys can get yards, you guys can move the ball, and our defense played horrible last week. I don't think it's going to be the same thing, but I think that the game will be close, like you said. Like it always seems to be close. It always seems to be, no matter what. We could suck. It could be Joe Judge era. It doesn't matter. It always ends up being close, no matter what. I have no idea why. And Barkley seems to play well versus the Commanders. That's kind of the only way I see the Giants really winning this game is if
Just
Barkley
to
goes
feed
off today.
Barkley.
If he goes off today and has like 150 yards, 2 touchdowns, like if he has an incredible game, that's the only way. I don't see DeVito moving the football, even though say your defense is Swiss cheese. But I don't know if they're going to put DeVito in the right situation. The Giants' offensive line's been bad. So, like I said, I don't expect a lot of points from the Giants, but I do expect the game to be close, like you said. So,
and it's super interesting, because you bring up about Sam Howell, and I just had a discussion before I came on here with one of my friends that, Sam Howell is trending in the direction to be possibly the franchise quarterback. I'm not going to avoid him. I'm not going to jump on that bandwagon quite yet because we've only seen 10 games out of this guy.
Well, he can make the throws.
Right. He can. And let's give credit where the kid needs it. That look, he is first in yards in the NFL right now.
Yeah.
First in pass completions and attempts. Yep. He's third in touchdowns.
Yeah, that's good.
And it's great. But
yeah,
we're not consistently playing the team ball for all those stats to look good at the record, right? And I had to chuckle when I was listening to you guys earlier in your show where you guys were talking about basically we're just over halfway. And you guys are already looking at the 2024 draft, right?
Unfortunately, yeah.
And I literally have to chuckle because two things. One, our team's been doing that for the last 4 years, right? We get to halfway through the season, and then we're already talking draft.
Yep.
There's mock draft popping up, yada, yada, yada.
Yeah.
Number two, this year feels a little bit different, but we're only 1, maybe 2 games away from being in the same position that you guys are of talking about the draft in 2020.
Yeah.
So, we're right on that bubble of, are we even worth, a wild card spot or, are we literally just mediocre like we have been and just need to keep getting those pieces to build around Sam to make us a competitive team once again in the NFC East.
Got a couple comments here real quick. He says, "I'll take the Commanders defense at least one free DraftKings lineup." I don't think that's a stupid move because the Giants' offense just is horrible.
Well, I know that first thing this morning for all of our betting listeners out there, and it's probably changing before game time. But first thing this morning, the Commanders were still favored 9.5.
That's too low. That's too big. I'm sorry, but I'm taking the Giants all day in that spread. To be honest, I'm sorry, but I can't take.
That goes back to our conversation of we've always played tight games.
Exactly, that's a huge spread for this game.
Yeah, but they were laying 9.5. That was at 8:00 this morning. It'll be interesting to see if that changes, comes a little closer or not.
I will say, DeVito has a tendency to throw a lot of picks, so that's kind of how you might cover that spread. But I think Barkley's going to get the ball a lot today. Another comment here. What's up, family? Who cares? Go, who cares? Yeah, who cares about your team?
Jeez, thanks, Spencer.
Hey, let's just remind Paul that, when Carolina pulls the upset this afternoon, we'll definitely have some words back for him. So,
I would enjoy that. I got a comment. I see Antonio Gibson is inactive for the Commanders.
He is. So, AG actually sustained a toe injury last weekend in last week's game. They were hoping it was going to be basically healed, cured, whatever by Tuesday, Wednesday. Still didn't practice Thursday, Friday. As of late last night, he was actually yanked. Actually, by yesterday, he was yanked off and actually ruled out as early as yesterday. So it wasn't even a game time decision. So they actually brought up running back Derek Gore, who's going to be our third running back. And basically today is going to be B-Rob number 1, and then Chris Rodriguez, the rookie, who's definitely had some, flashes and sparks when he's gotten his opportunities. He's going to be the RB number 2 today against the G-Men.
I like Robinson.
And then, as Dan and I have talked before, since we traded away 2 of our defensive end edge rushers,
Are they better?
we're kind of thin at that department, right? Well, and
Yep.
then it just so happens that one of the guys who started last week, Smith Williams, is not playing today because of a hamstring. So it'll be interesting to see the rotation model, what they go, how they do. I imagine that there's going to be a lot more called upon for the guys that are playing. Hey, look, you're not going to be rotated as much just because we're down, 1, 2 guys now. Plus 2 since of the trade, yada yada yada.
Well, it gives some of your other guys some playing time. So maybe some of your young guys gives them some experience. Even though it's not what you prefer, but you want that depth to get experience, especially if they're going to be here next season, right?
If we can eliminate the stupid defensive penalties, roughing the passers, unnecessary roughness that leads to ejections.
The stupid mistakes.
I think that we should have won last week against Seattle, but one of many contributing factors, big, small, however percentage you want to give it, was the Emmanuel Forbes ejection in the first quarter. You saw a different defensive perspective once he got ejected from the game from our secondary. So, the kid's not very big. He's tall and skinny. But, he needs to keep his head on his shoulders today and, make some smart plays. And, as much as it sucks to say this, and, you guys can chime in, but you got to think that, whether it's Commanders players or Giants or you guys in a situation, like that's got to play in the back of their minds the week after something like that happens. Is he going to be more timid to tackle your wide receivers, knowing that he just got ejected for a super controversial play last week? So are you guys going to be more apt to catching the ball and then he's going to try and stop the rack afterwards?
I think it's something you have to just forget about and move on from and try and not even think about it. It's like it's next game mentality. You forget about it. Like you forget about an interception, you forget about a play. You gotta put that. I don't think it'll be a problem. You just gotta forget about it. It's one game. You gotta move on. But I don't think that's really gonna determine anything today. But for him, hopefully you can put it behind him and just forget about it. You have a bad situation, you gotta move on to the next game. So
I think the seasoned vets can do that. So
but as a rookie, it's probably gonna stick.
Well, you'll need to have a vet pull him aside and say, "Hey, but you can have a vet pull him aside and say, "Hey, it's one game." You have that mentor factor. That's why you need those good locker room guys. Those good character guys to talk to a guy just to make him realize it's one game. And you have some of those vets, and that's why it's good to have that. So, but I don't think I think he'll be fine. But like I said, in this game today, I expect this game to be close. For us, Evan Neal is out. Adoree Jackson's out. Those are the only 3 I think so far. I haven't looked at the official injury report. I think they announced it when did we play? Day 1? I forget if we play at 1 or 4:30.
1 o'clock.
That's thank God.
You don't want to have to wait all day for a loss, Dan.
Thomas is questionable. Bobby McCain's questionable. Thibodeau, I think, is going to play. I don't see him ruled out yet. So he had a concussion and had full practice. So
did Hyatt clear concussion protocol this week?
Hyatt, I think, practiced.
Okay.
I was looking at it earlier, because they didn't release it early, but I'll tell you, Hyatt had full practice on Friday. Jackson's out. Lawrence had full practice. He'll be fine. Thibodeau practiced fully. He'll be fine. Who's out? I'm looking at the injury report. So I think only the Giants have Neal is out, Jackson is out, and another guy is out. Yeah, Mills, Jordan Riley, I don't care about. Evan Neal's really the only one I really care about. Riley's the rookie. Jackson, I
Yeah.
expect not. He might not play the rest of the season, to be honest.
Is
But everyone else is
Jingleheimer
playing.
out or no?
Who?
Jingleheimer Schmitz.
No, he's playing. Nope.
Oh,
He's
I
go
thought. Oh,
practice.
he was out last week.
He got hurt last week and had to come out of the game, I think, or the game before. But he's fine. Thibodeau's fine. Everyone else besides those players are playing.
Hopefully,
I
you
want
guys
Evan
can,
Neal to play.
hopefully you guys can build on and around Hyatt. I had the good fortune of doing an autograph signing with him right before the season started.
Oh, that's
and
pretty cool.
Got to talk to him for a couple minutes,
I like
and
him.
he seems like a really good young man.
Yep.
We didn't really talk a whole lot of X's and O's.
Yeah.
It's usually more of a, hey, how you doing? Kind of get to know the guy in the short time that we work with those guys. He was super nice, really personable. Seemed like he'd be a good fit for the New York market and your team. And hopefully he can just, back up that selection with the production,
I
why
agree.
he was drafted.
I think
we kind of know some of the history that you guys have, much similar to ours, of drafting high wide receivers and quarterbacks with, minimal to no production.
Yeah.
After a year, 2, 3, and then, they ride off into the sunset and never to be heard of again. So hopefully the kid has a good career for you guys.
Yeah, I hope so. I think Hyatt, will be good. I think people expect a little more out of him, but when you have time to throw the ball and your offensive line's not good and you have no time to develop his routes, he's a type of receiver that takes the ball downfield. I wish they would use him in the slants, like quick slants and just get him the ball, period. And that's the only thing I don't understand about Hyatt is I like Hyatt, but with their offense, they could be much more dynamic. Like you've seen the Giants, you're thinking, I'm always thinking, why aren't they using Hyatt? Why, even though he's a rookie, you tell me you can't do a quick slant, you can't tell me get a quick screen, something like that. Yeah,
the good offensive coaches, which I feel like Dable is for you guys, like you will find ways and create those plays to get the ball into your star players' hands.
Yep.
As you alluded to earlier on in this preview here, how they determined to get Barkley involved today is going to determine a lot of the game for both teams. If Barkley starts catching the ball and God forbid starts running up and down the field, like it could be a very long day for the Commanders. And then vice versa, if for some reason we find a way to, stop him or hold him to minimal, then it could very well turn the tide and be
I think it's the key
thing for us in our
I think it's the key. Do you agree, Stacey? I think it's the key. I think Barkley's the key
we have
to
to
the
get
Giants
him
winning or
involved.
losing a lot of games, but this game in particular, he's got to have a good game. So, we'll see. But the Giants haven't wanted to run the ball a lot this season, so we'll see what happens. But Barkley is the key, and I feel bad for Saquon Barkley. He's had a bad offensive line his whole career, and he doesn't complain one bit. And I just hope he has a good game for his sake. I don't know if he'll be a Giant next year, to be honest, because he has to sign a contract. I don't know why he'd want to be here, but Barkley's the key to today's game for Washington. For us, we got to get to Sam Howell. Got to pressure Sam Howell. It's got to be a game like the last time. Got to get to him, because I think if you let Sam Howell sit back there, he'll throw for a lot of yards and like 3 touchdowns today. It's just my feeling, Steve, because he's third in touchdowns. He's first in yards, so he could throw the ball. He can move the ball downfield, and that's my concern. The Giants' offense stalling out, going 3 and out over and over again, and then getting stuck on the field. Got a couple comments here. 1 second. Eileen says, didn't know Giants had a run back to David Jackson. Near did I. He must be a practice squad guy because their other guys are injured.
I mean, we got to get him from somewhere, right?
Paul Spencer, I guarantee Stacey's already hit the back of the field.
No, this is my water cup, Spencer. This is the water
house
cup.
on that.
No, a pinstripe water cup.
Yeah.
Paul Spencer says, may suppose you, but Giants 26, Commanders 24. Yeah, I said I could see it being a game like that. It's going to be close like that. 20
It's
to
funny.
17.
It's funny he threw that score up. I predicted
I missed
23
the
to
score.
20.
What was that one? 26, 24?
Yeah.
He said 26-24 Giants.
I was saying 27, 24 Giants. So
I think 27's a little bold for this offense because they've only done it over that
Hey,
once
like I said,
and a half.
you know,
in one half.
Vito was able to put up 17 on the Cowgirls.
Yeah.
I'm feeling a 27.
I could see what you're saying. I just think it's a little bold. I think mid to low 20s is. I'm gonna say 2017 Washington.
So I'll keep my same prediction that I had from the War Room, and I was calling Washington 26 to the Giants 20. I definitely think you guys are going to get some points on the board. And it'll be one of those games where it'll probably be us, pulling out the victory by a last drive touchdown or field goal.
It's going to be something like that.
Yeah,
it always is.
It's gonna come.
It always is.
For me, it's kind of like watching NASCAR, right? I only need to watch the first 10 laps and the last 10 laps. So I only need to watch the first 2 minutes of the game and the last 2 minutes of the game.
That's what it was like that.
Take a 2-hour nap in the middle and then watch the highlights afterwards.
That's the great thing about watching it on the NFL Network, doing the red zone. Yeah.
I got a comment here. Paul Spencer's 10 more charity points ago. I kind of agree with that. Like one of them was like a garbage touchdown when the game was like over. So I'd say like
17. It was still 17 points on the board.
I'd say 10. I'd say 10 legitimate points because the other one was well before that. But the game was still over. Like that's another game where the game is over at half.
Yeah.
Let's hope that don't happen today. But I just hope everyone gets through the game healthy. Like no more injuries, please, for either team, for their sake. But
I think we should wrap them all in bubble wrap.
Yeah, right. Now put them in those big like. You ever see like those
the big inflatable
like you put a bubble around you and you run into each other and knock into each other? It's like a game people play. And you play like teams. That's what they need. Everyone be like. Wrap DJ in a bubble like that next year if he's going to play behind the offensive line if you don't fix it. But good luck today, Steve. But may the best team win, even though we both suck. Well, we suck more. And I think Howell played well today. I think you do have your franchise quarterback.
I hope so. And for once, it may be able to give us some consistency at that position.
Yep.
Something we haven't had in definitely a few seasons. So
maybe you can get another weapon in the draft, depending on where you are. Maybe you can get another offensive lineman to help. I don't know if you need more line, or if you need more weapons, or if you need a pass rusher. Maybe you need to get another, like, take the best pass rusher in the draft. For us, it's going to be O-line or quarterback. Like if we're 1 or 2 or 3, we might take quarterback. But if we're like 4 or 5. Could be an offensive tackle or an offensive lineman because we still have that major problem, or the best player available. So, but a lot of people, I think it's going to be quarterback, but you could trade down and get a quarterback, but that's another conversation for another time. We'll worry about that when the time comes. No, I want to fire Dable and fire Shane after 2 seasons. But for you guys, I think you guys will have a lot of turnover in the offseason.
Absolutely.
I think it just has to happen. I like Ron Rivera. I think Bieniemy stays, and I'm interested to see if they promote him or they hire somebody else. So we'll see what happens for both our teams. But Washington, I think, is more on the uptick than we are by far. Because it seems like you found your quarterback, and if your offensive line can be better, you have the weapons. Prove your defense, you could be a playoff team maybe. So we'll see what happens.
I like your generosity.
Well, I have to be honest. They seem to have a quarterback, and we don't have that solidified. It's just how it seems to me. That's all. Leading the league in yards, 3rd in touchdowns. That's pretty good. That's pretty good for his first year fully starting.
Definitely.
So DJ's never done that. So. But our team has been much worse. But, good luck today, Steve. Like I said, may the best team win. Thank you for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
We have the the preview for the Cowboys and Panthers coming up with Paul Spencer at 12.
Boo.
So I'm gonna add a little earlier here. Go Panthers! Even though actually I kind of need the Cowboys to win because I gotta catch them in pick'ems, but but we both get the pick wrong if that happens. So, but thank you for joining us on Out of the Box. Thank you, Steve, for coming on.
Thank you.
Looking for at least a good football game today. The Commanders and the Commanders now and the New York Giants. Maybe it'll be something different. But thanks for joining us at Big Blue Power Hour. And go Big Blue. And we will see you next week at 11 a.m. on Sunday to get prepared for another football Sunday, unfortunately for us. So take care, everybody, and have a happy football Sunday.